tonight against Gibraltar?
Well,
Away.
judging on the way, it's away tonight. Judging on the performance, it's going to be another struggle, Paul. I think it took us 60 minutes to break them down at home. So if we don't get an early goal tonight, it could be another long, miserable night. But I do think we'll get the win. I think 2-0. I think, look, the team are not as bad where you'd be fearing they're not going to beat Gibraltar. I know the last time we were there with McCarthy, we only won 1-0, so there's no guarantees.
This game, I just know in case anyone is flying out, the game is actually played in Portugal, as far as I know, isn't it?
Yeah, Faro.
It's not actually played in the Rock of Gibraltar at
all. No, it's not. I think yeah, you're right there. It's because their ground isn't. Their ground is, I think the ground is near to an airport. I think I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But there was actually funny enough, about 4 years ago when we played Gibraltar in Gibraltar, there's actually a picture of a plane flying in over the stadium, and you can actually see the plane as the lads are kicking the ball around the pitch. So it's really weird. Yeah. So look, everyone is down after Friday night. Everyone's frustrated. The fans see no hope for this team. Really, like judging by what I saw Friday night, it was the lowest we've been in a long time, Paul. Like Luxembourg defeat under Kenny was very, very poor, but there was no fans there. There was no disappointment from the fans coming down from the stand. This was probably the worst defeat at home with fans there that Kenny's had, and we've had a few, to be fair. So it just sadly hasn't worked out. The FAI will let Kenny go.
Are you sure that? No, people are saying that, but how do we know that for definite? Are you sure?
I just think the reaction from the fans Friday night, particularly at half time even, and at the end of the game where the stadium was emptying out, 41,000 paid in. It was just the support was still coming even after the group we've had. We've 5 defeats and 6. Our only victories at home to Gibraltar. I think it's gotten so bad now, sadly, that I don't think the FI have any option but to let Stephen Kenny's contract run out.
Yeah, no, I don't talk about the contract. And I only came across this over the weekend, and maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. His contract.
I might have seen. I mightn't have seen this now, Paul. So
but his contract is up when this campaign is over. But even after the Dutch game away, there is a possibility, and I can't explain this Nations League qualifier. Ireland would still get a playoff depending on the other team's results. So the campaign won't be technically over. If that comes up. So they won't be just letting him go. If they're going to let him go, then if we get into this playoff, he's still under contract.
I can answer you that one now, Paul. I've looked this up online actually, and there's a few journalists have put it around there. There was 4 groups that if they went our way, we needed 2 teams to qualify. So I'll try and explain as best I can. we needed, and it's very complex now, Paul, to be fair.
We needed, just kind of shutting up.
Yeah, we needed. There was groups where we needed Albania not to get into the first 2. They're as good as qualified now in the group that had the Czech Republic and Poland. So that's one big disappointment for us. We also needed Turkey not to qualify. They're in first place ahead of Wales and Croatia, so they're doing very well. So that group was gone for us. We needed Bosnia and Herzegovina to, I think, come and be in the first 2 in their group. They're 4th, and they have to beat Portugal tonight. But even if they beat Portugal tonight, they're still going to be behind Slovakia. So that's looking like a dead rubber. Israel, we needed Israel to qualify in the first 2 for us to get into this playoff. Israel are 3rd. Obviously, we're not going to get into the whole politics, but obviously their games have been postponed because of what's happening at the moment. So we need, if Bosnia lose tonight and can't have any hope of qualifying, that's the playoff route closed.
So
tonight, if Portugal beat Bosnia tonight, and Slovakia probably win their game, then Bosnia won't be able to get first or second. And I think Bosnia are guaranteed the playoff anyway. So motivation for Bosnia to beat Portugal tonight when they're probably too far behind. I think they're 4 points behind Slovakia. They need to win their game and hope Slovakia either draw or lose to give them a chance of getting into the November window.
Just to tighten it up, the odds are almost very, very, very slim that we'll make the playoffs. So the campaign will finish away to Holland in next month, we'll say so. So you're convinced the FAI will have to no choice to just not renew his contract?
Yeah, I think so, Paul. It's sad because I really wanted Kenny to do well, but what I saw Friday night and what I heard Friday night from the fans and the reaction to the whole thing with after the game, through the media, to people who were there, Paul. I think the paying public sort of had enough there Friday night. From what I saw, and I thought that the people lost interest in the game after 70, 75 minutes. People were leaving. As I said, there was paper airplanes being thrown around the place. It was only just to see the end of the game that people stayed. Like, it was bitterly cold night as well. I was up in the east stand upper in the Aviva Stadium, so it was a perfect view of the pitch, and it was just sad the way things went, Paul. And we'll probably beat Gibraltar. I say we'll probably beat Gibraltar probably 2-0. Hopefully 1 or 2-0 tonight. We'll get 6 points, but I can't see us doing anything against the Dutch away.
If they don't renew his contract, where are you going to go? Because we do know the FAI are not flush with money.
Yeah.
And when Trapattoni came in and Martin O'Neill, there was a businessman was paying their wages or half their wages.
That's right.
So unless some sugar daddy appears out of the clouds, where we have the FAI have very little money for that, and let's be clear, any coach or manager up there, professionals, money talks. So who are you going to get?
Well, Paul, even before the game on Friday, the options people were listening out were very, very poor. Well, not very well. The lads that have done good jobs in the past would probably wouldn't be first on your list for taking over. I saw a list like Steve Bruce, Roy Keane, Neil Lennon. There was a few, one or two others. Sam Allardyce and stuff. This is the area we're in now, Paul, because I would love if we had an up and coming. We might have to go outside the box, Paul. Maybe try and get a foreign coach or something like that. No one springs to mind. Really, that's there was a manager there I thought that did a good job. Southampton for limited players, Hasenhüttl, but would he Gus Poyet, actually, funny enough, the Greece manager was asked would that manager not be something that would interest him? He said maybe yes, because he could see the stadium, the fans. He thought that was he didn't say definitely no. So maybe someone like this in the future, maybe, because look, I think there's promise in some young players, but it's going to take time, like what we saw Friday night, for these to come to fruition. I think it's going to take us a good couple of years yet to progress this team. The trouble with a lot of young, inexperienced players is you get nights like this where the oldest players, actually, funny enough, Doherty and Duffy, they didn't cover themselves in glory either, And you need good experienced pros to progress young players. And I think, sadly, the quality, I think it was John Alders, never mind style, we just don't have the quality at the moment, young and old.
Yeah, and you just said, and we discussed before, not how long we don't have the quality, but the players, they're not playing regularly with their clubs in the Premiership and even in the Championship. They're not they're not regular nailed on players for their clubs, and that's very hard to come into.
Yeah, it is, and it's worrying, Paul. Because we're going to be missing on tours. It's going to be a regular occurrence now, unless something drastic happens. We're going to be missing on tournaments on a regular basis now. It's over 20 years since we last qualified for the World Cup. If the way things are going, Paul, it could be 30, 40 years, because I'm sure when Wales qualified for the World Cup, that was this last year, I think Wales had a wait since 1958 to qualify for the World Cup. If we're not careful, Paul, we could go 30, 40 years to get to the World Cup. It might be easier to qualify for the Euros. Even with that way, Paul, the quality has gone down an awful lot with the Euros getting there. The quality would have to nosedive completely for us to get there at the moment, the way things are going.
Just we move on to that. Didn't Ireland, what word will I look for now? They're part of a group that have been awarded to host the 2028 Euros with England, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. Am I correct in that?
We are, and we have to qualify for it because there's 5 nations. Obviously, you're not going to have 5 automatic places to qualify.
Yeah.
Now, there is some talk about a safety net that if, say, enough countries, say, like, for example, England and Scotland qualify, then there might be 2 places up for grab where you have a safety net where the 2 hosts might qualify after their campaign, where they haven't qualified. There's some clarification to be done on that, as far as I know. But Paul, it's there's no guarantee we're going to be there, Paul. Absolutely not. Obviously, Ferguson and all them to win their early 20s, late, they've been there I think Ferguson could be 23 or something like that, or 24, 22, because he's so young. He's only 18, so in 5 years' time he'll be 23. So they'll be hopefully more experienced and players will be brought on. Obviously, the older players won't be there anymore, so we're going to have to fill that gap as well. But yeah, it's people have been saying, hosting the Euros, like we need investment in our own football structure here in this country. The FAI, like we were leaving the ground where people were having a chat. Like for a small island nation, we produce brilliant sports people in this country at an international level, whereas horse racing, the rugby team, in terms of what they do in their own sports, boxers, stuff like that. We were saying, why can't we produce football players at a higher level? Because smaller nations are doing it. Look at Wales. Wales won last night 2-1 at home to Croatia. They're level on points to them now. They have a good chance of getting to the Euros. Scotland have qualified for the Euros. So nations are the same size as us, Paul, Wales and Scotland. We always benchmark around ourselves. England is too far, but Wales and Scotland, for populations.
I have to disagree with you. We cannot compare ourselves to Scotland. In Scotland, you have a long time professional league. Now, I know
that's the thing.
It's a huge difference, though. And the top players didn't go down to England, or maybe go down to England, but they have a very strong professional league. Even though I say they're not at the moment being competitive in Europe, but they're still a very strong history of professional league. We don't have that now. You can't compare us to Scotland. I'm sorry, I disagree with you.
Yeah, well, I think in terms of the international team over the years, certainly we've always been able to, like whenever we play Scotland, we've always been able to compete with them. We beat them 3-0 in Dublin, and we lost 2-1 away under Kenny. So I think, if you look through Scotland's squad, they have better players, but not so long ago, Paul, Scotland were in the same dungeons where we are.
Yeah, but we don't, and again, I'm not trying to be, but the reason they're able to bounce back faster because they have a strong domestic professional league. We don't have that in Ireland.
That's the trouble, Paul. We're on about hosting the Euros. We have a semi-professional league at best here, and there's talk at the very best, and there's talk that we need to. I think we are relying now on the League of Ireland players to bring our players through. There's some row between the schoolboy football and stuff like that where they used to always come through. I think it was St. Kevin's where Liam Brady and Evan Ferguson come through, and a few others. So it's the structures are probably wrong, and it's been shown on the pitch, Paul, over the last 10 years where we're not getting enough players coming through, quality players coming through, and this is the results of it. But we need to invest in our football in this country big time. Kenny had to bring in these young players because the gap between, I think under O'Neill we had one of the oldest squads in Europe. Now we have one of the youngest, but we didn't have enough players coming through.
In between, together.
Yeah, and Kenny has done that. I've always said the man who would benefit most from Stephen Kenny's work, bringing all these players in, giving them the experience, will be the man after him. Hopefully, I'm praying, we're all praying that the manager after Kenny, whoever it may be, and whenever it happens, can get a team good enough to be on the pitch and be competitive again. We're a million miles away from qualifying for tournaments at the moment. We're relying on other teams doing well. Like I said, into 4 groups that we needed a few favours to get us into a playoff. Undeservedly, if we did, to be honest, we wouldn't deserve a playoff based on what we're doing. But we got a playoff last time under Mick McCarthy, not because Mick McCarthy got us to 3rd, but because results in other groups fell for us.
Yeah.
So,
but no, just a final question: is there a danger if Kenny's his contract is not renewed and you're bringing in a manager? Is there a danger of going for a high-profile foreign manager that you're going for the quick fix? Maybe you should keep taking the pain and bring in a younger manager. Say, right, maybe the next campaign and give the players another couple of years. Then, if you go for kind of a high-profile player with a big name, maybe a foreign manager, he's only going to come in for the short-term fix, and he will be you'll be in the same boat 2 years' time. What's your thoughts on that? Maybe go for more. What do you think?
But it won't be a big name manager, Paul, because if you, like you said yourself, a number of times just don't have the money to pay the top wages for a manager. So, I'm thinking that the next manager would be, like I said, Steve Bruce, Neil Lennon, Roy Keane, maybe Gus Pyatt if you like. He's like.
Or I mean, the short-term manager. Maybe that's a lot better term. But we don't want the short-term manager who's only just going for the short-term bit of glory. If you want maybe.
But my fear is the FAI now are going to be so desperate now to get to a tournament in the World Cup. we'll need a manager to do well in the Nations League, so we're seeded much better for the World Cup draw than we were this time.
Yeah.
At the moment, Paul, we're probably fourth seeds